We're heading into the final chapter of the NBA season now, with just a little over a month of basketball left to be played before the regular season ends and the postseason begins. Because of how lengthy the seasons can be, players can go through phases of highs and lows with their production, and especially for rookies, it may take some time for them to find their footing at this level. Players that got off to fast starts early may have cooled off, those that are struggling early may have started to pick things up, and others may be playing consistently all season long, but just haven't received much attention for it nationally, which brings us to the topic of today's video. Today, we'll be discussing 7 rookies who aren't the ones typically discussed by fans on a regular basis, but have still been having very impressive seasons nonetheless. Before we start though, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first rookie up for discussion that has flown under the radar all season long is Brandon Clarke of the Memphis Grizzlies. Fellow rookie teammate Ja Morant gets all the buzz on that team, and honestly deservingly so, because he's the frontrunner for the Rookie of the Year award right now and has played a major role in leading this rebuilding Grizzlies team to the playoff contention. But Clarke's production off the bench has been nothing less than phenomenal, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gets rewarded by being named to an all-rookie team at the end of the year. Clarke's status as a sleeper goes all the way back to draft night, where most draft experts saw him as easy lottery pick talent, myself included, and if you follow this channel you'll know that I post several mock drafts leading up to the real thing, and every time he was firmly in the lottery. Yet when the actual draft came around, he inexplicably dropped down to the 21st pick. Now that he's almost got a whole season under his belt, he's proven those teams that passed on him were wrong. He's an elite athlete at the power forward position who excels in the pick and roll, moves well off the ball, and dunks everything in his power when he's around the rim. He's averaging about 12 points and 6 rebounds per game, but what's most impressive is how efficient he is, as he shoots 62% from the field and 40% from 3. The threat of him knocking down threes opens the court up for Morant and the other playmakers to go to work, and if the defense is caught sleeping, he'll roll to the basket and throw down a lob. He does everything you want a big man to do well, and his career is just beginning. So without a doubt, Memphis is glad they managed to get 2 gems from one draft this year. The next rookie up for discussion is Kevin Porter Jr. of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Porter, like Clarke, was someone seen by most before the draft as someone with lottery talent, but for a variety of factors, some of them being off the court, he fell all the way down to number 30. That, combined with the fact that he's now playing in Cleveland, who only get national attention when the players feud with their coach, has resulted in not many people taking notice of his play on the court. On the season as a whole, he's averaging about 10 points per game on league average efficiency, and like most rookies, he was pretty inconsistent early on. However, over the last few weeks, he's really turned a new leaf and has started looking immensely more comfortable. In the last 13 games, he's averaging 14 points, which is a slight uptick from his season as a whole, but most importantly, his shot has been falling much more frequently, shooting 46% from the field and an impressive 42% from 3. His shot creation ability is his biggest strength, and he's comfortable shooting off the dribble from all 3 levels. Between him, Darius Garland, and Colin Sexton, the Cavs have a very nice crop of young guards to grow through the years. The next rookie up for discussion is someone I'd be willing to bet not many people have heard of, being Jordan McLaughlin of the Minnesota Timberwolves. McLaughlin actually went undrafted 2 years ago, and after spending all of last season in the G League and impressing down there, he got an opportunity in the big leagues with the Wolves. Being someone without any expectations, he wasn't exactly handed a big opportunity for minutes immediately at the beginning of the season, but when the team shipped Jeff Teague off to the Hawks, it left them very limited with options at the point guard position, so by default, he was thrown in there, and since then, he's really owned the moment and proven himself. He may not be the best athlete, the quickest player, or the most creative playmaker, but he just simply knows how to play the game and run an offense, and does a little bit of everything everything as the team's backup point guard. He's an efficient scorer of the basketball, makes plays for others, and holds his own on defense, and in the last few weeks, he scored in double figures in 5 of his last 10 games, including a 24-point, 11-assist game against the Clippers. Undrafted players always have to put in extra work to earn a spot in the league, and McLaughlin has done just that. The next rookie up for discussion is another undrafted player for the defending champions, being Terrence Davis of the Toronto Raptors. Raptors fans have absolutely fallen in love with this guy, and honestly, I don't blame them. He's earned big minutes on one of the best teams in the East because he knows his role, plays unbelievably hard, and has honestly exceeded any and all expectations people possibly could have had for him. Essentially, he's used in the role of the 3-and-D wing player for the Raptors. But the thing is that he's capable of doing so much more. Yes, he has definitely been an unbelievable perimeter shooter, and his ability to spot up and knock down over 40% of his threes opens things up for Siakam and Lowry to create. However, he's not just a spot-up guy, and with the ball in his hands, he has a very underrated handle that he can use to take defenders off the dribble and attack the basket. He's basically the perfect fifth option for a contending team that can step up his game and make plays when necessary. Plus, the biggest reason he's even earned minutes in the first place is because of his defensive tenacity, because if there's one thing about teams coached by Nick Nurse, it's that defense comes first. The Raptors have a knack for finding gems out of nowhere, and Davis's play this year exemplifies that. The next rookie up for discussion is Cam Reddish of the Atlanta Hawks. Reddish has been someone oozing with potential since his high school days, and coming out of high school, he was actually seen as someone on par with Zion Williamson. However, when they teamed up at Duke, it became clear that Zion was in another stratosphere, and Reddish was still a work in progress. He has terrific size for a wing player, a smooth shooting stroke, and the ability to break defenders down off the dribble, but all through college and early on this season, he was wildly inconsistent and seemed to lack confidence. His season-long numbers for the Hawks this year still don't necessarily look great, but when you look at his recent play, you see a player finally starting to put it all together, and that's incredibly promising. In his last 22 games, he's averaging about 14 points per game and is shooting over 40% from 3, including 5 games with 20 or more points. He's looked much more active and involved, he's aggressive and confident, and the production speaks for itself, and all of that could be a very good sign for the future for Hawks fans. The next rookie up for discussion having a sneakily good season is PJ Washington of the Charlotte Hornets. Washington's a player that has been pretty consistent from the very beginning of the season, but the fact that he's been doing it for one of the least glamorous teams that garner very little attention in the Hornets has led to him flying under the radar. He was a lottery pick in the draft because, as a big man, he has a tremendous motor and never stops attacking the glass and works incredibly hard in the paint. He's a solid rebounder, strong defender, and is quite mobile for someone at his position as well. On the season, he's averaging about 12 points and 6 rebounds per game, but the biggest surprise in his game that has helped him earn the starting power forward spot in the Hornets lineup is his perimeter shooting. He's showed glimpses of it at Kentucky, but now he takes a few threes per game and knocks them down at a 37% clip, which is slightly above average. He may not be the flashiest player, but he is on track to be a highly productive player for years in the league. And finally, the last player up for discussion in this video is Nicola Mele of the New Orleans Pelicans. Mele's actually an interesting story because he's 29 years old and has been a pro overseas for years. He actually entered the draft all the way back in 2013 and went undrafted, so for the last 5 or so years, he remained overseas to continue to work on his game. He was told that he was too thin for the NBA back then, so in that time, he bulked up a bit, and now with the way the game has changed, his skill set is perfect. He's a big man that works almost solely on the perimeter, and his shooting ability is what got him to the league in the first place. He's a highly skilled shooter of the basketball with a confident and smooth stroke that he'll pull even if given only an ounce of space. On the season, he started 6 games for the Pelicans, but even the rest of the games he's come off the bench, he's provided valuable shooting and floor spacing, especially alongside a player like Zion Williamson Williamson, who isn't quite known for his shooting ability, Mele brings a good balance to the front court to allow Zion to have all the room he needs in the middle to dominate the paint. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below any other rookies you think are having sneakily good seasons this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.